or what are you looking forward to most of this upcoming season?
Definitely going back to the playoffs and going further in the playoffs to go versus the Warriors. I want to play the Warriors. I want to get to the Warriors. Wherever they at, I want to get to them.
Got you. Why the Warriors so much?
I mean, because Draymond talks so much trash. That's pretty much the only reason.
So, is there more satisfaction or anything just with all of the ups and downs that you guys went through that you stayed together and you're right back where you were last year?
There's no satisfaction.
Yeah, if
We just got here. We haven't done anything yet, so no, he's not satisfied.
that's exactly how it feels. It feels good to get to that step, but it's
Every team goes through a lot, and it's just, everyone wants to rush the process. Everybody wants everything to be great and compare it to what you've done in the past. All that's kind of irrelevant, really, when you have a new team coming into a season. And the challenge we laid down to our guys from day one was quite simple. It was one question. Were you a Western Conference Finals team, or were you a team that just happened to make the Western Conference Finals? And there's only one way to prove that. Go out and do it again. And that was our mission all year. And, it took a lot of growing pains, but the team's come together at the right time and playing its best basketball. So,
basketball fans, welcome back. So the Minnesota Timberwolves have advanced to the Western Conference Finals. This is the second straight year they are going there. Last year, they went there after beating the Denver Nuggets. And in this one, they have gone there after beating the Golden State Warriors in 5. So let's just talk about this. So I'm very excited. Number one, I hate the Warriors. That's number one. And number two, I love the way Anthony Edwards has been dispatching NBA legends. We saw last year started with KD, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal. Then we went to Jokic and Jamal Murray. Then this season, you've seen the Minnesota Timberwolves. Man, I felt so bad when my Lakers went down the first round, but it was something that was expected. And they beat the Timberwolves beat the Lakers in 5. Then in this one, the Golden State Warriors got beat in 5 games. So this season, we've seen Anthony Edwards get his revenge on LeBron James and Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic and the Mavericks at the time last year, they eliminated the Minnesota Timberwolves. And Anthony Edwards, he retaliated and beat the Lakers in 5, eliminating LeBron James and Luka Doncic. And in the second round, you've seen Anthony Edwards, he wants to go to the finals. Last time he made the West Finals, he couldn't make it, met the Dallas Mavericks, and they stopped him from making the finals. But this one, it's closer than we think. And Anthony Edwards just beat Steph Curry-less Golden State Warriors. Even I saw that he's not too happy with the outcome of what happened because he didn't match up with the Golden State Warriors at full force. But a win is a win, and he was able to take apart the Golden State Warriors with Draymond Green. And yeah, man, I'm very excited. So Anthony Edwards, I mean, he's been taking apart legends. And also, not to forget Julius Randle. He had 29 points in this game, 13 of 28 shooting, sending the Timberwolves to the West Finals. And this final score of this game was 121-110. So one thing I liked about this game was the fact that there was no point the Minnesota Timberwolves slowed down, because majority of the time I've seen when teams go up 3-1 and they only know they are 1 win away, the other team that is down 3-1, they try to steal game 5. And in this one, the Minnesota Timberwolves did not let this situation happen, and they went on the necks of the Golden State Warriors. And it's something that excited me. So Anthony Edwards, he had 22 points and 12 assists. And he'll be facing, and he, also the Minnesota Timberwolves, they'll be facing the winner of the OKC Thunder versus Denver Nuggets. And Game 6 is going to tip off today. That's tomorrow morning for me. And we're waiting for that one. And there's a high likelihood that that series, the Denver versus OKC one, that it can go all 7 games. But we're not sure. But right now, the Minnesota Timberwolves have like about a few days of rest before the West Finals tip off. And I'm very happy because I do not like the Warriors, even as I began. I began on by saying that. And Brandon Podziemski, even despite the loss, he had a playoff career high 28 points for the Warriors. And the Warriors did not play with Stephen Curry. Stephen Curry got injured, and it was sad. And also Jonathan Kaminga also balled out very well. I mean, provided another energy off the bench with 26 points. And also Buddy Hield was there. Jimmy Butler was there. And when this postseason started, with a healthy Stephen Curry, I felt like they would have even done a legit finals push. And it was possible because they had Jimmy Butler there. Jimmy Butler is known for, carrying the Miami Heat team to the NBA finals twice and also deep into the postseason. So that's one thing that I banked on. And I felt like Jimmy Butler, there was a high likelihood that he might win the championship. But unfortunately, Stephen Curry wasn't there. The person who held the Golden State Warriors offense together was not there. So it was very difficult for the Golden State Warriors to be able to mount any type of offense. And also, the defense for the Golden State Warriors was wanting because they were not able to stop the productivity of an Anthony Edwards, Julius Randle, Rudy Gobert when he was on. And Rudy Gobert was a force in this one because he had 17 points. Mike Conley had 16 and 8 assists. And Dante DiVincenzo, he had 13 points. And the Wolves shot a 77% clip on 2-pointers, 36 out of 47 shots. And they set a franchise postseason record of 36 assists and a field goal percentage of 62.8%. That's damn near like 63. So this was a very good performance by the Minnesota Timberwolves. And I feel like this is the dawn of a new era. I mean, the new stars that are coming out, Anthony Edwards is leading the charge. You have Luka Doncic. You have those guys who are leading the charge. Jason Tatum is there, Jaylen Brown. There's a new era that is present, and the old era is being phased out. You're seeing the fall of KD. You're seeing the fall of LeBron James, and they are old, and it's time for us to move on from these guys. I know the NBA, it's very difficult because those are the guys who have carried the NBA brand for decades, but it's just high time to just allow and just close the curtain on these people. So the series closeout games can be sometimes the toughest to win. And one thing that I've seen, the Wolves did not let up, and they had a lot of ferocity in there. And Julius Randle, he has proven to be one of the most reliable options for the Timberwolves. And one thing that I even saw was the trade that was done in the 2024 offseason that involved swapping Karl Anthony Towns for Julius Randle. It has worked out well for both teams because as we speak, the Knicks are up 3-2 on the Boston Celtics, despite the Celtics playing without the service of Jason Tatum. He tore his ACL, he tore his Achilles. So the trade has worked out for both teams because I was looking at a situation where, the Minnesota Timberwolves are setting themselves back. I know the decision was financial. They tried to get under the salary cap at least, and try to get away from the luxury tax, but it has paid off, and I feel very great. So the Wolves stretched their lead at as high as 25 points in the third quarter, large enough to withstand a late Warriors push that pulled them to 99 and 90. With 7-11 left, the game was like at a 9-point spread. So, but Edwards answered with a 3, and the crowd just started shouting Wolves in 5, Wolves in 5. And Anthony Edwards, he's saying there's no satisfaction. We just got here. So, this has been a very good series, and it has been a very good run for the Minnesota Timberwolves. And right now, it's not Lakers in 5, it's Wolves in 5. So, I'm very excited. I like Anthony Edwards. He's proven to be one of the best, reliable, fast options for a team. And I don't think people really caught on to Anthony Edwards like that because in 2023, in the FIBA World Cup, he was the guy that was the focal point for the Team USA, even despite the disappointing outing for Team USA when they finished 4th. They couldn't even finish in the podium. He was that guy that was reliable. Even his Olympic run when he was an Olympian last year, he did some very good things for Team USA. And I can say Anthony Edwards is that type of guy that learned so much from the legends. So in that Team USA roster, he was there with KD, there with LeBron, there with Steph. So you can see this is a young person who is learning and absorbing as much as he can from the legends. And that is what has led to this outcome, because when you look back at, the Minnesota Timberwolves, they have been toiling in the bowels of mediocrity for years. And Anthony Edwards, when he was drafted first overall, there was not too much, expectation and hype on the Minnesota Timberwolves. I can even say some people even came out on a limb and said the 2020 NBA draft was a bust. It was done in the pandemic. There was no podium like that. But Anthony Edwards, in his 5-year run, he has shown that he's that guy and he's not afraid. Even I saw a post he made on social media, a post that was posted on social media, that he said that he was really looking forward to matching up against the Golden State Warriors in the postseason. Wherever the Warriors were, he was going to meet them. And he doesn't even back down or even shy away from any contest, because even Stephen Curry being there, I know the series might have even gone and played out 7 games, but still the outcome will not have changed because the Minnesota Timberwolves will just continue to go ahead and win this. So it is what it is. So I'm very excited to see the Wolves back in the Western Conference Finals. I can even say Anthony Edwards has achieved more than Joel Embiid's whole career, because Joel Embiid in the Eastern Conference has never made an East Finals with the Sixers, and that is very embarrassing. And you can look at the other side. Anthony Edwards has made the West Finals twice, back-to-back years. Well, I mean, your guess is as good as mine. So trust the process, man. Was so disappointed. Didn't even make the playoffs. But anyway, shout out to Anthony Edwards. He's been great. He's been awesome. And he has been one of those reasons as to why I've been enjoying this postseasons, because you just see the ferocity that this guy has, embarrassing NBA legends back-to-back years and back-to-back series. And he's been one of those reliable options for the Minnesota Timberwolves. I don't think there's any team that can be able to match up against the Wolves right now. They are very locked on. And even I've seen people now, they're trying to hype, the OKC Thunder. They're saying the OKC Thunder, they're going to, there's no one stopping the OKC Thunder right now. But we're going to see who's going to come out of the West, because sometimes I feel like the Western Conference Finals is the real NBA Finals, because if you look at the way these players play in the West Finals, you can see that the competition is so different as what you can see in the NBA Finals. But hey, it is what it is. So as we speak right now, the 2 teams that have made the conference finals, we saw the Pacers do it yesterday. We've seen the Wolves do it today. And we're waiting on the outcome of the Denver Nuggets versus the OKC Thunder. We're going to see Game 6. Who's going to make it there? Then we have, on the other side, we'll have the Boston Celtics. They're trying to claw themselves out of a 3-1 deficit. They won Game 5, forcing Game 6. I'm going to look at them in the next video I'm going to make. So stay tuned to that. So I've been enjoying the postseason, and I'm a Laker fan, but man, I just like seeing good basketball being played. And right now, I just like the Timberwolves where they are playing. Hopefully, they can be able to they can break through and make the NBA Finals, because it's just going to be epic. For some reason, I feel like the Minnesota Timberwolves have been one of the most interesting watches in the NBA playoffs, because their games are not dull. There's no dull moment in the game. They have a very good roster. They have a star player that is not shying the moment, and he shows up when it matters. And he's one of the guys that I really look forward to. I've made sure to watch every single Minnesota Timberwolves basketball game in this postseason and also in the regular season as well. So it is what it is. So like, share, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, get notified. Comment what you think down in the comment section down below, what you think about the NBA postseason. It's been awesome. And yeah, man, I'm out. I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Peace out.
We're going to win the championship.
Say that one more time so that everybody here can
say that with your chest.
I didn't hear you. My earpiece.
Because they added Jimmy Butler III. So what did you say?
81.
I'm sorry. I said I think we're going to win a championship, but I lied. We are going to win the championship. Wow. They got a chance. They got a real shot. Anytime you got a number 2 that can just go get it, you give yourself a chance at to go make it happen and get a ring. And like I said, the way Drew has been playing, since he came back from the injury, by the way, it ain't just start. Like the way he's been playing since he came back from his injury, he's been lights out. So, I have no doubt that he'll continue to play that way. He's aggressive as hell, and he gonna go after it. He got that mindset. Always have had that mindset. So, and it's clicking for him, you know. So I think they got a real shot at it. You know, when you got two dynamic, and then they got all the pieces, right? Like they got Nas coming off the bench. Jaden McDaniels is a hell of a young player. Rudy, 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. Mike Conley and his experience. Dante flying around and defending and shooting. Alexander, they got pieces, you know, so it's just not one or two guys. They got a real team. And so I think they got a real shot at it.
I love our guys. Like I said, we this was a hell of a run for us, you know, considering where we were at the trade deadline. You know, Jimmy changed our season, flipped everything for us, gave us a chance. We became one of the best teams in the league. And obviously, you know, you get to the final 8 in the NBA, you're one of the best teams. And we had a shot, but, you know, things didn't go our way. But like I said, Minnesota deserves the credit. They were the better team.
When do you and Draymond and Steph get together and start talking about next year?
That's a good question. That is a very good question. Maybe on a plane, I don't know. For sure sometime this summer. But when it happens, it will happen.
We've been through a lot with Mike, you know, and I mean, I love him. You know, I just want to, more than anything, I want to win for him. Right. You know, because it's like, you know, we've been. I just know how much he cares about winning. How
Mike
great.
Play through anything, man.
How great of a guy he is, and I want to say I want to do it for Joe, but I don't care about Joe actually. but for
Mike Conley, man, he's the ultimate vet the best vet you can ask for, man. Plays through everything, never complains, always knows the right thing to say, always knows where to be. Yeah, and just great guy to look up to for sure.
I think the biggest thing in this series is that without the spacing that Steph gives us, you know, Minnesota did a great job of just playing us one-on-one. They guarded us on the perimeter. They were trying to take away our threes, and that forced Jimmy to play a lot of one-on-one against a long, athletic team. And his whole game is to ISO, get the ball into the paint, and then move it to generate shots. And they just made the decision not to leave our perimeter guys, even our, you know, non-shooters on the perimeter. They just stayed with them everywhere and made Jimmy play one-on-one. And because they have a lot of length and athleticism, it wasn't easy for him to get anything, you know, at the rim and in the paint. And obviously they've got Gobert back there. So they made things difficult on Jimmy. You know, once Steph went out, it changed everything for our whole team, but especially for Jimmy.
Do you not think Golden State could have, if Steph doesn't get hurt, could have won this series?
I do not.
I think they could have.
Well, they could have.
Yeah, they could.
Yeah, I think it was very viable.
Yeah.
I think it's very viable because the way that everyone was guarding Steph Curry in the playoffs made it so easy. The overall extension of denial, meaning I don't care where the basketball is, I'm just going to stay with Steph.
Well, you think that
so that allows everyone else
to. But you think
that's an unusual defense.
Hold on, but I'm saying, you think Minnesota would have played them the same way the Rockets did?
They were. That's why they lost game 1. No, they were playing them like that.
And then
they got up. They got up 15, and he got hurt.
Steph
at that time.
Steph is the one dynamic player that can take over a game. You know, he hasn't really been Steph this whole playoffs. Houston did the little trickery defense. You know, he had to be a regular player.
But Minnesota started with the same trickery defense before he was hurt as well.
But to answer Ernie's question, if he's healthy, he can give you one of those games with 30, 40, 50, and it could change the series. So to answer your question, I think if he was healthy, they definitely could have won the series.
I love our guys. Like I said, we this was a hell of a run for us, you know, considering where we were at the trade deadline. You know, Jimmy changed our season, flipped everything for us, gave us a chance. We became one of the best teams in the league. And obviously, you know, you get to the final 8 in the NBA, you're one of the best teams. And we had a shot, but, you know, things didn't go our way. But like I said, Minnesota deserves the credit. They were the better team.
With that said, how do you feel about the future? And I'm talking more just next season, you know, with Jimmy now here and what you guys can maybe, you know, build on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. We got, obviously, Jimmy and Dre and Steph all coming back. Our young players performed really well this year. There's a lot to look forward to.
I'll tell you what, OKC better win tomorrow.
They don't have to win tomorrow. Denver got to win tomorrow.
Okay. They better win tomorrow.
They ain't got to win tomorrow. Denver got to win tomorrow.
If they lose
tomorrow. The Knicks didn't have to win tonight.
They'll go home for Game 7.
What that mean? That don't mean nothing, Ernie.
It means they'll be in their gym. Yeah.
You know what's gonna happen? Their back's gonna be tight.
They were tight last night. They won.
I would say this.
Yes.
In Game 7.
Yes. Back's gonna
no
be
matter
tight.
where it is.
Yeah, you
have to know that there is a guy from a Balkan man.
Yeah.
It's very different, and he is a different person. And I would not want to have that one game against him.
Yeah.
Not one. I just wouldn't want to have one.
He can't play better than he did last night.
He has 61 this year.
Yeah, they lost that game.
But
they lost that game.
He played better.
They lost that game.
Yeah, but he had 50 in
They lost that game.